Hello and welcome back everyone, it is time for chapter 149 of My Hero Academia, so let's just not waste any time and just jump right into this chapter. So it starts with pretty much having Overhaul ask Toga and Twice what their quirks are, and I think this was easily the best part about the chapter, given that we see how both Toga and Twice react very differently. Toga is really reluctant to share her own quirk because of the fact that she simply doesn't trust Overhaul or any of his henchmen, and so she straight up refuses to tell Overhaul what her quirk is, and we have this small fucking bird guy just waltz in like he owns the place, right? He reminded me of the owl in Jargon, like what the fuck even is he? Dude's shorter than Mineta, and that is an achievement. Anyway, so yeah, we also get to see how Twice react in pretty much the opposite way, and the reason is, from what I could determine, the fact that Overhaul doesn't trust them enough to let them move around freely, so Twice gets on without wasting any time, so he pretty much tells everyone what his quirk is, and he does not hold back. The amount of details that he provides is incredible. You know, like weight, height, the difference between the clones and the original, all kinds of things, and this gave us some more information about his quirk, which is always appreciated, especially when you only know what his quirk is to some limit, not all there is to know. Toga also shares her quirk actually, which is pretty interesting, but only because she feels as if Twice is making her look like a fool, and what's really interesting is that she shows a side to her in this chapter that I did not expect to see, which is embarrassment. Both from Twice doing what he has did, and then also when she does in fact explain her quirk, because she does tell everyone that her quirk is to transform to anyone as long as she's taking in their blood, and again we learned new things about his quirk that we didn't already know. For instance, we now know that her transformations have a time limit depending on how much she drinks of that person's blood, and she said that a cup equals about a day's time, so she even gives us a way of measuring how long she can become someone, and I think that's gold's worth, because until now we didn't really know if her transformations had a limit of time, because it's never really been pointed out. So it is very good to see that Horikoshi gave that to us, and he also openly gave us another part, and this is the part where her embarrassment had a role. She explains that she can copy people's clothes as well, but if she does that, that means that when the transformation fades, she'll be naked, and that makes her feel embarrassed. So she does have a sense of shame, I guess, and that kinda adds on to what we saw in the previous chapter when Toga and Twice was telling Shigaraki how they're human and shouldn't be treated as tools. Again, the fucking bird dude just gets me every time. He just shouts at everyone like he's the king of the jungle or some shit. I just wanna stomp on it. I mean, just look at it, it's so weird and tiny. Anyway, so time goes back to the present, and we return to Deku and the others as they try to deal with Iranaka, who's pretty much gone insane at this point, and well, we see how Izuku is trying to pinpoint the location of his body so that he may deliver a strike powerful enough to render Iranaka senseless. I honestly hope that the fight with Iranaka would be less anticlimactic, but one thing that I did enjoy about this was how it really showcased how Izuku alone didn't win this fight. He pretty much knocked Iranaka out of the walls, but Aizawa had to erase his quirk for things to quiet down properly, so even with a situation like that where Izuku had the potential to probably solo fight him, Horikoshi did shine some light on the pro heroes, and I'm guessing it's really to showcase that Izuku is still a student, so even if he could win against Iranaka at that point, this is not about just attacking each other, but rather to move on to the part where they rescue Eri, since that is in fact the main objective of this mission, and restraining Iranaka was simply the quickest way to deal with the situation. So Aizawa obviously realized that why let Izuku deliver another attack when he could just delete his quirk and the fight is effectively over. Okay, so the last thing that's on today's agenda is Togata and Overhaul, because at the very end we see how Chronostasis and Overhaul are found by Togata, who is ready to duke it out. Now this is interesting because I don't think Overhaul is going to be fighting Togata. I think that Chronostasis is going to be fighting Togata, which could serve as slowing him down, but I feel like this fight could be pretty intense when looking at the potential. We don't know Chronostasis' quirk, but the name Chronostasis suggests time sleep, and maybe it's less literate, so let's assume Chronostasis can in whatever way manipulate time around him. That would really add to this fight, because obviously Togata's quirk is to phase through anything at will, and this is a pretty powerful quirk, right? Well, what if he can't phase through this time? It makes sense when you think of the idea that him phasing out doesn't disconnect him from time in any other possible way, so why would it be any different with a quirk that relates to time? So let's say chronostasis can create a barrier which, if you're inside of it, time flows differently, to the point of either stopping completely or being extremely slow moving. This would give him a strong edge against Togata. Now, I don't think that Togata would lose against him, but I do think it's possible that chronostasis could buy enough time for Overhaul to get away, and some of the others may even catch up to Togata while he's fighting or just after, because time isn't perfectly in sync in all of these places that we've seen. It is said that Togata's moment was like a few minutes after his initial splitting up from the others, so we don't know how much time has passed during the chapters where everyone else were fighting really, so it's possible that they're all now in good sync, or at least when Togata's fight is about to be over. So we might have everyone back together in one group after this, including the girls, Tamaki, and everyone, you know. You get the idea. It would be very interesting given that there are still 2 expendables yet to fight, and that still leaves Overhaul, of course. I don't think this arc is about to be finished just yet. It's more likely that we are going to get to see more of Nejire and potentially even more from Tamaki, since, as I've said many times, he still hasn't used his swordfish, and I honestly do not believe that Fat Gum would give that to him if it wasn't to be used, so I just feel as if he has one more fight to fight. Be it one-on-one or a team fight, things could go either way, but this all of course relies on the idea that Togata will be fighting chronostasis and not Overhaul. I guess we truly won't know until next chapter. Anyway, with that said, I'll be ending the video here, so let me know what you think down below in the comments, and as always, if you did, please like this video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new to my channel. This has been your favorite host, Perm, and I'll see you soon.